Hey everyone, this is Panorama Dan, the OMAD Nomad, coming to you with another video. And we're going to be talking about the lifestyle of the OMAD, which is one meal a day. Now there are different types of fasting, intermittent fasting, and we'll talk about those at a certain point in our discussions. But today I wanted to tell you a little bit what's going on with Carmen and I. We're still preparing for our trip, our 40-year anniversary trip, and we're going to be out on the road for 5 or 6 months. And in the process of getting ready for that, we bought a new generator. And we've owned several generators throughout our life. We've had everything from a 20 kW diesel generator in our bus to a small Honda 2200 generator that ran off gasoline, and a little bit of everything in between. The last generator that we bought was about 6 years ago, and we bought a Champion generator, and it was a dual fuel generator. And we really liked that generator a lot, and so we decided when we got ready to buy one again that we would buy a Champion dual fuel. The last one we bought was a 3400. This is a 4500 watt generator. And the reason why it's called dual fuel is because it can run off both gasoline. It has an onboard gasoline tank, and it also has a port to hook up a quick connect for propane. And you can switch back and forth. You can run propane all the time. You can run gasoline all the time, or you can switch back and forth between the two different fuels, and that's why they call it a dual fuel. And you may be asking, on a channel that has to do with fasting, why are you talking about this generator? And there's an analogy that I was thinking about, and I just wanted to do a little video on that analogy. Just like every analogy, it will break down at a certain point, and I'll try to point out where I think this analogy breaks down. But as humans, we are also designed to run on dual fuel. So most of us spend a good part of our life running off just one fuel. Just like that gasoline generator, it's just one fuel. We eat 3 meals a day, we snack in between, and we continually keep our insulin high, which the insulin in our blood is kind of the body's way of saying, when the insulin goes low, hey, we no longer have fuel in the fuel tank, so let's switch from the fuel that we were putting in our mouth to the fuel that we have stored on board. And that fuel that we stored on board is in the form of fat. And so when we eat a meal, if it's just the right amount of calories, our body burns that, and at the next meal, it's ready again. But whenever we take in more calories than what our body needs to sustain, insulin is there, and it works with the kidneys, and it begins to take that food and put it into storage for a rainy day. It's putting that fuel in another fuel tank. So when there's a time when we don't have fuel, just like that dual fuel Champion generator, it can switch from fuel to fuel. Now, in the end, our body runs off the same kind of fuel. This is where this analogy kind of breaks down. So it's all going to be glucose in the end, where the Champion generator runs off propane, which is one specific kind of fuel, or gasoline, which is another kind of fuel. And our body has to do that conversion to make our fat cells, when it breaks those down, brings that fuel back out, converts it to a fuel that it can use. So that's where it breaks it down. But I just think it's really interesting that we are designed and built to run on at least 2 different fuel tanks. You know, our stomach is the tank that we fill up all the time, and it runs out and we fill it up again. But our fat cells are the fuel that we keep in reserve. And so the goal is, when you're trying to lose weight, when you're trying to keep yourself from being a pre-diabetic, or you have been diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, or when you've got a diagnosis of fatty liver disease, or if you've gotten a diagnosis that you have visceral fat around your heart, then the goal is to lose that weight and to lose that fat. And fasting, while it is not the only way to do that, it is a very effective way to get your body to the point where at the point where it burns all the stores of glycogen, the insulin drops, and your body is signaled to switch from one fuel source, the fuel that's depleted, to the fuel source that we have in store. That meal we ate 2 years ago that's sitting there in reserve. And so I thought that was pretty interesting. Just like this dual fuel generator that I bought for a camping trip, I'm learning that I'm a dual fuel being also. And if I want to restore some of the health that I had at one time, then I need to begin to tap into that other fuel source. And fasting, specifically for me, OMAD fasting, 1 meal a day, has really been super helpful, and I'm seeing a lot of great results. We haven't really talked about results at this point. I started just after Thanksgiving, and as I'm recording this on it's April 15th. It's actually April 16th, the day after tax day. I have lost about 62 pounds. And my wife Carmen has been doing it the same exact time. And of course, women are blessed that they are able to hold on to their fat reserves longer than men. And so she's close to 45 pounds. So we're seeing a lot of good results in it, but it's not just the weight. We want to be healthy, not just thin. We want to not have diabetes. We don't want to have all the negative health outcomes that come along with that. And so we're finding that fasting is one, helping us to lose weight, but there's a whole host of other things that we're learning. And if you'd like to find out a little bit more about those, stay tuned. We're going to have some more videos talking about autophagy, and we're going to learn about the different studies that have come out about the different kinds of health benefits that people are getting as they work some kind of fasting into their life. Now, you may be saying, hey, I couldn't go a whole day without eating. Well, intermittent fasting could be just skipping breakfast and fasting for 16 hours a day, every other day. So there's intermittent days and intermittent fasting. So, and in the end, if you don't have weight to lose, but you want to get some of these other health benefits of fasting, you might only fast 1 day a week or once every 2 weeks. So there's a lot of different variations to fasting, not just OMAD. But for us, we found that it just really works for us in our lifestyle. This channel is going to be about finding out how that works when we're not at home, when we're not working a 9-to-5 job. And like many of you who have the nomad lifestyle, how does that work when you're traveling every other day, or you're traveling every third or fourth day, and you're on the road and you're stopping in at fuel stops, and you don't have a regular cooking schedule. So we're going to be exploring how Carmen and I are dealing with that as we go along. If you're interested in that topic, and if you're just interested in fasting at all, like this video and subscribe to my channel, the OMAD Nomad, and we'll share content, and we'll share studies and science literature, some nerdy stuff that would maybe help you in your journey or someone you know. Well, thanks again for tuning into this video. And it's like I always say, it's a great, big, beautiful world out there. So go out there and enjoy it.